Hey guys, it's Laura. Back in 2019, I did an elimination diet in an effort to improve my immune system. And while I'd consider it a success, there are a few things I wish I had done differently just to improve the general experience. Probably the biggest thing was to have a better tracking system. I was using my phone, my computer, notebooks. I was just all over the place and I was disorganized. So I decided to create a food and symptoms tracker specifically for elimination diets. This is what I wish I had had when I went through my elimination diet, and I wanted to make it available for anybody to use. In this video, I'm going to talk about what an elimination diet is, how to use the tracker, and at the very end, I'm going to touch on the IBS Summit that I'm going to be speaking at in a few weeks. I'll leave timestamps below in case you want to jump around the video. If you're not sure what an elimination diet is, I'll keep it short and sweet. Basically, an elimination diet is where you remove certain foods from your diet for a certain period of time, and then you reintroduce them one by one to determine whether or not you have any problems or any issues with those foods. To be perfectly honest, it feels like a bit of a science experiment. Ultimately, it's a great way to figure out what foods your body can and can't tolerate. But sometimes the symptoms aren't as obvious, and they can include things like acne, digestive issues, muscle pain, joint pain, fatigue, sinus pressure, and so on. And they can manifest immediately after eating a food or even a few days after the fact. There are several different kinds of elimination diets, and you may have heard of some such as the Low FODMAP diet, AIP or the Autoimmune Protocol, and even the Carnivore diet. But you can also pick and choose foods that are specific to your individual needs. And I do want to mention that the elimination diet as a whole is meant to be temporary. Now, there are 3 phases to the elimination diet process: the observation phase, the elimination phase, and the reintroduction phase. During the observation phase, you eat as you normally would for about a week, and you track the foods that you're eating and any symptoms that you're experiencing. As you start to pay attention to how the foods in your diet make you feel, you might have some suspicions as far as what foods may be causing you issues. This may help you determine which foods you might want to eliminate from your diet, which leads right into the next phase, the elimination phase. This phase is pretty straightforward. You eliminate the foods that you've chosen for about 3 weeks and you track your symptoms. Then finally, in the reintroduction phase, you reintroduce each food one at a time and you track your symptoms. Introducing each food is about a 3-day process. On day 1, you'll reintroduce maybe about 2 servings of that food back into your diet, and then days 2 and 3, you eliminate it. You cut it back out of your diet and you track your symptoms. If you don't experience any symptoms, hooray, congratulations! Go ahead and move on to reintroducing the next food. But if you do experience symptoms, you want to make sure that those symptoms subside and they go away before reintroducing the next food. I do want to recommend that if you're experiencing a symptom with a certain food that you've tried to reintroduce, leave that out of your diet through the rest of the reintroduction phase. It's one less variable that you're going to have to deal with, and you'll be able to better determine if different foods are causing different symptoms. You don't want to get messy data. Now that we're clear on what an elimination diet is and what the 3 phases of an elimination diet are, let's move into the tracker. So as you can see, the first page of this tracker provides the general overview information. What an elimination diet is, what foods you eliminate, the different phases, and how you use this tracker. So let's move over to the observation phase tab. You'll see a brief description of what this phase is all about at the top, and then you have up to 9 days where you can track all of the food that you ate during each meal, as well as your symptoms. I've listed some of the most common symptoms you might experience, and you can rate each one as well as provide some additional information about that symptom. For instance, you might note that you started feeling really bloated after lunchtime, so you might give a rating of 5 and add the timing of that symptom in the notes section beneath the rating. I've also included an opportunity to track stress levels and environmental allergies. Stress and allergies or other environmental factors can affect the way that you feel throughout the day. So it's important to consider this as you go through the process. And for anybody who happens to be menstruating, probably good to note that as well because that can affect the way you feel. At the bottom of this page, you've got some reflection questions in a section that averages the ratings of each symptom you experience. This can be used as a baseline as you eliminate and reintroduce foods. The elimination phase tab is laid out pretty much the same as the observation phase. The main difference is that you've got several more days where you'll enter data and you've got different reflection questions. The reintroduction phase is similar, but there is an additional column for you to identify whether you're introducing a food on that day. So if I were reintroducing tomatoes on day 1, for instance, I would enter tomatoes in the new foods reintroduced section. Then I would leave that column blank on days 2 and 3 since I'm not eating that food. Now keep in mind that this phase won't take long if you don't have a whole lot of foods to reintroduce. But if you're reintroducing a lot of foods, there's a chance that you'll have to add more days to this tracker, which is thankfully pretty easy to do just by adding additional rows. At the bottom, you'll find more reflection questions, and that's it. As I mentioned before, this is something that I made for you guys, and it's completely free. I didn't want anybody to have to go through the chaotic mess that I put myself through. So I have an Excel version, a Google Sheets version, and a PDF version in case anybody's interested in printing this out. I guess the biggest question that I haven't answered yet is how do you get this tracker? Well, it's pretty easy. All you gotta do is go to my website, balancinglaura.com, and I do have a link in the description below to make it easy for you. But go there. Towards the top of the screen, you'll see something that says, join my newsletter and get a free elimination diet food and symptoms tracker. Enter your email address and hit subscribe, and then check your inbox. Give it a few seconds and be sure to check your spam folder or your promotions tab if you're in Gmail. But there you will have an email from me with the link to all of this content. If you encounter any issues, have any questions, or have any feedback, feel free to send me an email or message me on Instagram. If you like the Elimination Diet Tracker, go ahead and hit the like button, and while you're at it, feel free to hit that subscribe button as well. But let's move into what I'm really excited to talk about, because I am going to be one of over 20 speakers at the Irritable Bowel Summit that's taking place July 20th through the 22nd. The link to the summit is in the description down below, and everything kicks off July 20th at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. The first day focuses on how food intolerances, stress, and diet can cause and worsen IBS symptoms, and I'll be talking about elimination diets and reflecting on my personal experience. Day 2 is all about fixing and supporting your microbiome, and Day 3 focuses on the tests that are available to help you better understand what may be causing IBS-related symptoms. I'm honestly so excited about this summit, and I think the content that's being shared is relevant to everyone, even if you don't have IBS. And I am somebody who doesn't have IBS. At the end of the day, gut health is incredibly important. It directly affects our quality of life, and I think the vast majority of us could afford to learn more about gut health and how to support the microbiome. Registering for the summit is completely free. So click the link down below to register, but then it'll give you an option to upgrade to the All Access Pass. This gives you a year of access to all of the recordings, additional Q&A sessions with the speakers, training materials, and a workbook that provides information about each speaker, and it allows you to download and listen to all of the bonus interview content. And as somebody who is constantly listening to podcasts and audiobooks as I'm working out, I'm walking, driving, you name it, I love that this is an option. Right now they have an early bird price at $67 for the All Access Pass, which is a really good deal. And once the summit starts on July 20th, that will increase up to $97, which is still pretty darn good. And then the day after the summit ends, so July 23rd, that will increase again to $127. At this point, you should have all the links that you need in the description down below. You have the link to my website, and that'll get you to the Elimination Diet Tracker. And then you have the link to register for the Irritable Bowel Summit. Again, that takes place July 20th through the 22nd. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, comments, feedback, you name it, and I really hope you'll register and attend the summit. If you're excited to use the tracker, be sure to hit that like button, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching and for all your support. I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys!